Did you know that the average American home has over 300,000 items? That's right, 300,000! It's no wonder we feel overwhelmed and stressed. Even more shocking, despite all our stuff, we're still buying more. The average person spends $1,497 a month on non-essential items. It's like we're drowning in things we don't need. But here's the kicker. Studies show that cluttered spaces can actually increase your anxiety by 40%. That's a massive impact on your mental health. No wonder so many people are turning to minimalism. But while many start the journey, not everyone stays committed. Why? Because it's hard to stick with it when life gets busy. In this video, we're going to explore 6 powerful strategies to help you stay committed to your minimalist goals. You'll learn how to declutter your mind, discover your true purpose, and even find joy in saying no. Plus, we'll share some surprising tips that can make a big impact with just a small change. So, if you've ever struggled to keep up with minimalism, or if you're just curious about how to make it work long-term, you're in the right place. Let's dive in and find out how you can simplify your life and stay on track for good. Chapter 1. Declutter your mind, not just your space. When people think of minimalism, they often focus on getting rid of physical stuff. But what about mental clutter? The truth is, your mind can get just as cluttered as your closet. To stay committed to minimalist goals, start by decluttering your thoughts. Did you know that we have about 6,000 thoughts a day? That's a lot of noise. Here's a simple strategy. Begin each day with 5 minutes of mindfulness. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let go of anything unnecessary. This practice can reduce stress by 30%, according to a study by the American Psychological Association. It's like hitting the reset button for your brain. Another tip? Limit your decisions. Steve Jobs famously wore the same outfit every day to avoid decision fatigue. By reducing choices, you free up mental space for what truly matters. Try it with your daily routine. Plan your meals or your outfits ahead of time. The less you have to decide, the more energy you'll have for your goals. Remember, mental clutter can be sneaky. Even social media can fill your mind with unnecessary thoughts. Consider a digital detox or set specific times for checking your phone. Studies show that people who limit social media use feel 30% less anxious. So take a break from the scroll and focus on what really counts. Chapter 2. The power of purpose-driven minimalism. Minimalism is more than just a lifestyle. It's a mindset. And to stick with it, you need a clear purpose. Why did you choose minimalism in the first place? Was it to find peace, save money, or spend more time with loved ones? Whatever your reason, keep it front and center. Research shows that having a strong sense of purpose can extend your life by up to 7 years. When you align your minimalist goals with your values, you're not just decluttering your space, you're creating a life that reflects who you are. One strategy is to create a personal mission statement. Write down why minimalism matters to you. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just a few sentences will do. Keep it somewhere visible, like on your fridge or as your phone wallpaper. When you see it daily, it serves as a powerful reminder of why you started. Another tip? Reevaluate your goals regularly. Life changes, and so do our needs. Maybe your original purpose was to simplify your home, but now you want to focus on simplifying your schedule. That's okay. Adjust your goals to fit your current life. Flexibility is key to staying committed. And here's something interesting. A study by the University of Michigan found that people who set specific goals are 90% more likely to achieve them. So instead of saying, I want to live minimally, say, I will reduce my wardrobe to 30 items. Specificity brings clarity, and clarity leads to action. Loving the content? Subscribe now and let's get back to the action. Chapter 3. Embrace the joy of saying no. One of the most powerful words in minimalism is no. Saying no isn't about deprivation. It's about creating space for what truly matters. Yet many of us struggle with it. Why? Because we're wired to please others. But here's the thing. Every time you say yes to something you don't really want, you're saying no to your own goals. A study from the University of California found that people who struggle to say no are more likely to experience stress, burnout, and even depression. On the flip side, those who confidently say no have better mental health and more time for their priorities. So how do you get better at saying no? Start small. Practice with low-stakes situations, like declining a meeting or skipping a social event. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And here's a tip, don't over-explain. A simple, I'm not available, but thanks for thinking of me, is enough. Minimalism isn't just about reducing possessions. It's about reducing commitments too. Every yes should be intentional. Before agreeing to something, ask yourself, does this align with my minimalist goals? If the answer is no, then you know what to do. And here's a little-known fact. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in the world, credits much of his success to saying no. He once said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." Chapter 4. Mindful Consumption, Less is More. When it comes to minimalism, the idea of less is more than just a catchy phrase. It's a powerful strategy. Mindful consumption isn't just about buying less, it's about making thoughtful decisions about everything you bring into your life. Here's an interesting fact. Americans throw away 81 pounds of clothing per person every year. That's a lot of waste. Instead of impulse buying, try the 30-day rule. If you want something, wait 30 days before purchasing it. You'd be surprised how many things lose their appeal after a few weeks. This simple strategy can cut your spending by 20% or more, according to financial experts. Another approach is to focus on quality over quantity. Buy fewer items, but choose ones that last. This applies not just to clothes, but to everything, from kitchen gadgets to furniture. A well-made product might cost more upfront, but it'll save you money in the long run and reduce clutter. Think about digital consumption too. We often forget that our digital lives can get cluttered. Do you really need 10 streaming services? Or that endless list of apps? The average person has over 80 apps on their phone, but only uses about 30 of them. Deleting unused apps or unsubscribing from unnecessary services can clear mental and digital space. One more tip. Embrace the idea of borrowing or renting. Need a tool for a one-time project? Borrow it from a neighbor or rent it instead of buying. This not only saves money, but also aligns with a minimalist lifestyle. Libraries, tool-sharing services, and even rental clothing services are great resources to explore. Chapter 5. Routine Refinement, Small Steps, Big Impact. Minimalism isn't about making drastic changes overnight. It's about refining your routine with small, intentional steps that add up over time. The goal is to create habits that naturally support a minimalist lifestyle. Did you know that it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit? That's why starting small is so effective. Begin by identifying one area of your daily routine that feels chaotic. Maybe it's your morning rush or your bedtime routine. Then simplify it. If mornings are stressful, try preparing the night before. Lay out your clothes, pack your lunch, and create a peaceful start to your day. Another strategy is to use time blocks. Allocate specific times for tasks and stick to them. For example, set aside 30 minutes each evening for tidying up. This prevents clutter from piling up and keeps your space organized with minimal effort. Research from Duke University shows that people who use time blocking are 30% more productive. Consider applying minimalism to your meals too. Simplify your diet with a few go-to recipes that you love. This cuts down on grocery shopping time and decision fatigue. Meal prepping is another game changer. It saves time and reduces the temptation to eat out, which can be both expensive and unhealthy. And here's something surprising. A study published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology found that people who live in organized spaces are 40% more likely to make healthier food choices. So, by refining your routine and keeping your environment tidy, you're also supporting a healthier lifestyle. Chapter 6. Minimalist Milestones. Celebrate the small wins. Finally, let's talk about celebrating your progress. Staying committed to minimalism can feel challenging at times, so it's important to recognize and celebrate the small wins along the way. These milestones keep you motivated and remind you of how far you've come. One way to do this is by tracking your progress. Start a minimalist journal where you jot down what you've decluttered or any mindset shifts you've experienced. Studies show that tracking goals increases the likelihood of achieving them by 42%. Seeing your progress in writing can be incredibly rewarding. Don't forget to celebrate non-material wins too. Maybe you've reclaimed more time for hobbies or noticed a decrease in stress. These are all milestones worth acknowledging. A simple way to celebrate? Treat yourself to a day off, a nature walk, or a quiet evening with a good book. Another tip is to set mini goals. Instead of aiming for a big, daunting target, break it down into smaller steps. For example, rather than saying, "I want to declutter my entire house," start with, "I will declutter my kitchen this weekend." Each time you hit a mini goal, give yourself a pat on the back. This approach keeps the momentum going without overwhelming you. And here's a little wisdom from Marie Kondo, author of The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. The best way to find out what we really need is to get rid of what we don't. As you hit each milestone, you're not just getting rid of stuff. You're discovering what truly matters to you. That's worth celebrating. Subscribe and ring the bell to be the first to know when we post new content.